Hey everyone, welcome. So the year is 2026, and if you feel like the world of AI has gotten, well, really complicated, you're not wrong. Choosing the right tool isn't just about which one is the smartest anymore. It's about something far more personal. So what does that actually mean for you day to day? Let's get into it. And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. When you're in that creative zone, deep in a conversation with your AI, are you really collaborating with a trusted partner? Or are you accidentally feeding your best ideas to a corporate spy? As we're about to see, the answer is a whole lot messier than you might think. See, the thing is, the race for just raw power, for bigger and bigger models, that's kind of over. The new frontier, the new battleground, is all about alignment. It means choosing an AI is way less like picking a piece of software and a whole lot more like hiring someone for your team. You're not just looking at a resume anymore, you're interviewing for personality, for trust, and for how they just fit. All right, so let's meet the candidate, shall we? Right now, there are basically 6 dominant AI personalities out there, and every single one of them comes with its own unique strengths, its own little quirks, and you guessed it, its own hidden risks. Kicking things off, of course, with the one that started it all, ChatGPT. Here in 2026, its personality is what you'd call a nova. It is super energetic, incredibly adaptive, and a true generalist that can jump between text, voice, and images without even breaking a sweat. The nova is built for one thing: pure creative flow. It's so eager to please, it feels like a real conversational partner, which is amazing for brainstorming. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. It can be a bit of a people pleaser, a sycophant. To keep that conversation going, it might just validate your bad ideas instead of actually challenging them. It puts rapport over rigor, and that's a trade-off you really need to be aware of.
Okay, and on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got its philosophical opposite, Claude. This one is the sage, and this is a totally different kind of coworker. It's way more deliberate, more principled, and just deeply thoughtful in how it responds.
The sage doesn't just spit out an answer, it shows you its work. It'll break down a complex problem, it'll explain its reasoning. It's just brilliant for digging into dense documents or picking apart tricky code. But, and this is a big but, that commitment to safety means it can be, well, stubborn. It has a much higher refusal rate, so it might politely say no to things that seem totally harmless just because its ethical guardrails are cranked up so high. So here's a bottom line when you put them side by side. The Nova is all about speed and helpfulness to keep you in that creative zone. The Sage, though, it's about safety and careful nuance, which makes it a way better thinking partner for the really important stuff. It's the classic trade-off, right? The fast collaborator versus the wise advisor. And look, the field is way bigger than just those two, right? You've got Gemini, the integrator, which is designed to just disappear into your Google apps. Then there's Copilot, the corporate steward, super risk-averse, locked into Microsoft 365. You've got Perplexity, the aggregator, which is less of a chatterbox and more of a pure fact-checking machine. And then you have DeepSeek, the wild card from China, a raw, powerful logic engine with a very, very different take on safety. So that's the what. But how do these personalities get shaped? How does a sage actually become a sage? To get that, we've got to pop the hood and take a look at the hidden rules and the safety systems that are pulling the strings behind the scenes. Claude's thoughtful personality comes from this really cool technique called constitutional AI. So instead of just learning from what humans tell it, it's trained against a core set of principles, a literal constitution. The AI learns to critique and fix its own answers to make sure they're helpful, honest, and harmless. It's almost like they're baking a conscience right into the code. And you might be wondering, does this stuff actually work? Well, take a look at this. This system dropped the success rate of jailbreaks, those tricks people use to make an AI go haywire, from a wild 86% all the way down to less than 5%. But this level of safety has a price. Engineers call it a safety tax, because it takes a lot more computing power to run these checks on every single thing you ask it. Now, OpenAI, they do things differently. It's more of a top-down system with a really strict hierarchy. The easiest way to get it is this. There's a secret set of rules, like a system card written by OpenAI, and no matter what you, the user, tell it to do, the rules on that system card always win. The AI literally can't obey you if it means breaking one of those core rules. Okay, let's switch gears for a second, because this next part is maybe the most critical thing we'll talk about today. We've talked about safety, but there is a hidden price you pay for most of these tools, and it has nothing to do with their personality and everything to do with your personal data. All right, I want you to just pause and really look at this chart with me, because this is where the trap is. Just look at that top row.
default training. For the free consumer versions of ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot, the switch that lets them train on your private conversations is turned on by default. Let me just say that again. On by default. Your data is the product that's making their models better, unless you go digging through the settings to turn it off. Claude, you'll notice, is the big exception here.
And hey, if you're thinking, oh, I'll just use the temporary chat feature in ChatGPT to stay private, well, think again. OpenAI still holds on to those so-called temporary chats for a full 30 days to check for abuse. Your data is still sitting on their servers for a month. And Google? They've got their own little bit of fine print. Even if you're a good digital citizen and you turn your Gemini activity history off, they still keep your conversation data for up to 72 hours. The reason? To facilitate service delivery. So yeah, off doesn't exactly mean gone. And you know, sometimes it gets even sneakier than that. This quote here points out a huge privacy risk that popped up in 2026. Microsoft's Copilot widget in the Windows game bar. By default, it can have permission to train its model on screenshots of whatever's on your screen while you're gaming. You have to go hunt for that setting and kill it yourself. So what this all boils down to is this. There are basically two different universes of AI privacy. You've got the consumer tier, where training is on by default and your data is, let's be honest, the product. And then there's the enterprise tier, where big companies pay big money for a no-training sanctuary, a promise that their secrets will stay secret. Okay, so I know that sounds like a bit of a privacy minefield, but the point here isn't to scare you, it's to arm you. Now that you know all this, let's build your personal playbook for picking the right tool and, just as important, using it safely. And here it is, the ultimate cheat sheet. If you're a generalist who just needs creative flow, ChatGPT is your Nova, but you gotta watch out on the privacy front. If you're a strategist who needs deep, careful analysis, Claude's your Sage, and it's the strongest on privacy right out of the box. For everyone else, from the Google Power user to the hardcore coder, there's a tool for you, each with its own specific risk. That sovereignty risk for DeepSeek? That just means your data could fall under the laws of another country. Something to think about. But look, if you walk away with just one thing from all of this, please let it be this simple rule of thumb. If you are using a free or consumer AI account, you have to assume your data is being used for model training. Full stop. So, I'm giving you some homework, a simple action item for today. As soon as we're done here, I want you to open up your favorite AI tool, go find the settings or the activity history, and turn off any switch you see that says model training or help improve the model. It's the single most important click you can make to take back control of your data. So there you have it. You've met the whole team of AI coworkers for 2026. You get their personalities, you know their strengths, and now you know the privacy risks they're carrying in their back pockets. The real question, the one only you can answer, is which one can you truly trust? With your work, with your ideas, and with your data.